Hey, everybody, and welcome to Attempts at Governance, episode 246, all about Polkadot and moving this network to a greater future together. We've got an amazing panel and a lot to discuss today, but we're going to start with the state of the Treasury. As soon as I let another person into the show there, we are looking pretty good this week, up on all assets, especially DOT. We're up 3.79 million DOT from this time last week. Why is that? Well, hydration returned 60% of the 5 million DOT that they received from their successful liquidity hydration campaign ref that went through. That was 5 million DOT. They made an agreement to return 3 to be used at a later date in a broader ecosystem campaign. But that really juices the DOT stack to 23.93 million DOT this week. We're up 610,000 USDT to 2.7 million and up 420,000 USDC to 4.86 million. And Tommy, did you happen to figure out why we got so much USDT? Not at the moment.
Nope.
Seems like a
Sorry.
little bit more USDT than we're used to as far as income goes. But that's the state of the Treasury. We are now glad to throw it over to Funky, Florida man driving, fresh haircut for the state of the funk.
Thanks so much, Jay. Yes, I'm no longer hurtling down the highway, but the state of the funk is moving.
Oh,
Just like these markets are moving, and just like you
yes.
noted, we are all moving to move this network forward. A lot of momentum being generated. Got some cool things coming up. I mean, I think this summer the Giga Hydration is just the start, right? We have the hub coming. I feel like just on the heels of permissionless and last week, a lot of energy as always at the Hacker House, thanks to the Web Zero folks. But
Yes.
it's going to be exciting summer, exciting weeks ahead, and I will be doing my best to keep track of the time as I get situated here in a little bit. Thanks so much, Jay.
Wait, were we just in New York last week? That seems like ages ago. How is this happening? Already at Thursday, another AAG, and thanks very much for being here, Funky. We're now going to throw it over to Limo for the return, the long awaited return, the triumphant return of Referenda Gone By.
Thank you. I'm finally not traveling during an AAG day. So there's 11 refs gone by. The first one is by Audion on the whitelist of the collar track. Ref 1629. This was approved. It does enact in 8 days' time, and this is the upgrade to the call time system chain, which hopefully stops the call time baron. Then we've got quite a big one. The marketing bounty on the treasurer track, Ref 1584, was approved yesterday, and this is the refill of the marketing bounty for 6 months. So congrats to all the guys
Wow.
there. Then we've got another big one. This is Autonomous Project on the Big Spender track, Ref 1591. This was approved, and this is for 632,000 USDC to fund the Polkadot Community Foundation for an extra year.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got a couple of big ones rejected. The first one by ChainSafe on the Big Spender track, Ref
Yes.
1590. This was rejected, and it was for 815,000 USDC for the Gossamer core contributions to Polkadot for Q3 and Q4. So we'll see if those guys come back. Then we've got one that I'm sure will come back. This is Snowbridge on the Big Spender track, Ref 1587. This was rejected, and it was for around 5 million USD for Snowbridge 2025-2026. Then we've got Christian on the medium spender track, Ref 1589. This was approved, and it's for 108,000 USDC for Backforge Milestone 4. Then when I think these guys came to the treasury before when there was all this KYT stuff, this is Merkel Science, Ref 1586.
Mm-hmm.
This was approved, and it's for 100,000 DOT for their compliance and security proposal, and I think it relates a lot to Asset Hub. Then we've got Tree Network, Ref 1585. This was rejected, and it was for 211,000 USDC for avatar accounts, which allows users to interact with Polkadot using existing Ethereum wallets.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got one small spender by Region X, the call time marketplace, Ref 1595. This was approved, and it's for 49,000 USDT for Region X's new features and improvements. It does look a bit better than it used to. Then we've got SimDot on the Big Tibber track, Ref 1630. This was approved, and it is 500 DOT for their participation in an institutional conference. I'm getting tongue-tied there. And finally, we've got Lucy on the small Tibber track, Ref 1618. This was approved, and it is for 906 USDT for the Ambassador Fellowship tooling that has been made. And
Yes.
that's all the refs gone by this week. Quite a few.
Very, very nice. Feels good to have that. Looking at the refs that have gone by here, the Merkle Science one, this is pretty exciting. This flipped to I after they made this update that Crypto.com would be integrating because of, or if this proposal were to pass. So that's really good news there.
I think we
Snowbridge,
met them in Denver, right?
did we?
They're doing a lot of, I think so. They're
Okay.
doing a lot of stuff like tagging accounts. So if people send money to
Hmm.
dodgy accounts, it gets flagged. And I think even stopping people sending money to scam accounts as well. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, totally, and definitely a requirement of certain partners. Snowbridge here, going to be interested to see what happens after this rejected proposal. Only 17.8 percent of the dot on the I side, including Trustless Core and Ret DAO. But we'll have to see what happens here, what they come back with, if they come back to Treasury, if they're supported in another place. Also, Gossamer, seeing this alternative client fail here after so much support in the past, it does follow the same or the similar trend with Kugimi, and they'll be. We'll have to see what happens with them as well if they're going to be funded by the Treasury or elsewhere. But a quick shout out to the creators here, ChainSafe, who hosted our meetup in Toronto yesterday. This was so awesome. We had 20 people show up actually and come in to their huge, beautiful space. Here we are doing some brainwashing about OpenGov after a healthy lunch, and we're going to continue that every week. But they have this massive space. They've all gone to one corner of this huge office to work, and this space is available to fill with crypto people. So we decided to fill it with Polkadot people and wanted to give them a shout out and a big thank you. All right, so we're gonna start today with some. Before we get to the refs, we have some presentations. Or sorry, both of them are updates to previously funded initiatives. One is Angie, Ilya, Eliza, Dottie, and Polkadot avatars. What do we have
Yes.
here?
Okay, I'm gonna first share my screen
Okay,
here.
let's do it.
We've been rehearsing all of these videos and screen shares, and can you guys see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So just want to give you, just to kick it off, context. Last week, I cannot believe that was last week, Jay. It's crazy.
Yes.
Last week we were at Permissionless. We hosted a gaming day. We had 31 people sign up. We had, I think, 30 show up, which was amazing. 8 of those were investors, big investors in the space. Special shout out to David Nage from Arca, portfolio manager I've known forever in gaming, and and also in crypto. We had really deep conversation. The balance, 23 people at the table were game studios. And we talked about the burning questions in Web3 gaming that people are asking. And I'm just going to give you a couple of highlights before we turn it over to the team. The first big topic we talked about, which we talk about a lot, is the first phase of Web3 gaming, which was kind of, we say, rounds to zero, because it wasn't about building media value. Gaming and media and entertainment is about time spent, engagement. It's about, kind of connection to the community. And the initial wave of Web3 gaming was the game loop was collect, hoard, flip. Get the token, sell it before anybody else, and get out. And so we talked about the new value that we're seeing in Web3 gaming, which we're excited about. And a lot of that comes from behaviors in gaming that we've already seen. One of those examples is mythical quick trades. So it's always been the case that if I have, I might have 2 items on my screen, Jay has 5 items on his screen. I think his 5 items are worth the same as my 2. He agrees, we swap. That has been really accelerated by Mythical. Mythical is now leading the market and using blockchain technology for this. So that's an example. We talked about ownership, which Ilya is going to touch on. We talked about gaming morphing to social media, driven by Roblox. I don't know if you guys saw it, but about a week ago, or a little over a week ago, Roblox, one game on the Roblox platform, there are 40 million games in Roblox, but one game became the largest game of all time. It hit 21 million concurrent players. The previous record was held by Fortnite during COVID, when all we had to do was sit in front of our screens and play Fortnite. That was 15.3 million. So again, one game in Roblox hit 21 million, biggest game in history.
Wow.
And this is this is disruption that is not, it's unstoppable. And so anyway, it's a different behavior. So we talked about that. What are people doing in Roblox versus what they're doing in AAA games, and how can we tap into both? And then the main topic that we talked about was community. Community is everything. Marketing is getting harder and harder in video games. And what kind of, when you boil it all down, what remains is the community. If you don't have an engaged community, you don't have really a way to kind of keep engagement. And I think that's one thing that Web3 really leads in. And I always use Flappywood as my example. I know you guys are sick of hearing about it, but Flappywood, and I any Nancy Chen, who was at our lunch. She's got one of the biggest servers in Fortnite. She could launch anything. She could launch any small game, any kind of interaction, and people would play it because she's got a phenomenal community who basically, sticks together and plays together. So we think we can really lean into this in the Polkadot community. Now, another kind of challenge we've talked about is the lack of tools in the Web3 community and gaming generally. And so we're trying to solve that. I'm going to turn it over to Ilya now, and then we've got some exciting announcements from Eliza as well.
All right. Welcome, Ilya.
Hi, guys. So yeah, we are building the Polkadot Avatars platform, and this platform is designed to be a shared collectible system for UGC Web3 mini games. So players can customize their avatars using modular components derived from existing digital collectibles and use them across all mini games on their platform. And tools like Sage and Sortium greatly simplify the creation of Web3 games, lowering the threshold of required technical skills so people can create their own custom gaming experiences, 3D digital collectibles for the avatars, and publish them on a shared platform powered by Polkadot. And my team and I are looking forward to start creating mini games around this infrastructure. I think it's going to be awesome. This approach opens up a huge amount of possibilities, kind of a multi-game experiences and unique economic systems. And now, if you don't mind, I will show you a video with our proof of concept and some work in progress footage that we showcased at Gaming Day. Just give me a second. Here we go. What if the items you earn in one game? Can you hear the sound?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Could follow you into any world you play. Hi, I am Ilya, and honestly, I get tired of earning digital assets in one game and not being able to use them anywhere else. So I decided to build Polkadot Avatars, a platform where the digital collectibles truly belongs to the players and can be used across any UGC games within the ecosystem. Just connect your wallet, build your modular 3D avatar, and explore different worlds to unlock unique new parts. Our customization system is designed for exponential growth. Every new part you unlock opens up more ways to make your avatar uniquely yours. With Sortium, players can use AI to generate one-of-a-kind 3D customization parts directly within the platform. And with Sage, anyone can create and publish their own Web3 gaming experiences, fully integrated into the Polkadot Avatars universe. Powered by Sage, every game built within the Polkadot Avatars ecosystem unlocks advanced on-chain features, like modular gameplay logic, persistent character progression, cross-game item usage, and real-time avatar stat updates. Developers can easily create rich, interoperable game experiences where players truly own and evolve their identity across worlds. Together with my team, we are building a unified gaming infrastructure, connecting IPs, communities, and game worlds through a shared collectible system where players truly own what they earn.
What great work. Amazing.
And because we're short on time, I'm going to let Dottie speak for herself, which is Polkadot's own new, virtual influencer. So let me go.
I'm Play Dottie, the voice of Pop Dot Play, broadcasting live from outer space. Because Pop Dot Play was nice enough to launch me up here, so I can game without distractions. Earth's got drama. I don't have time for it. I've got bounties to drop, games to break, and bridges to Web3 to explore. Web 2, I grew up there. Web 3, I'm building there. And I'm watching every move like it's a boss fight. This is Pop Dot Play. I'm Play Dottie, and this is just the beginning.
And there's one more coming up, which I think we just have time for. So sit tight.
What? I bought that skin. I earned that title. And now it's locked in last season's game? In Web 2, you buy pixels. In Web 3 with Polkadot, you own assets across games, across chains. Polkadot is the game engine under the engine. Modular, cross-game, upgradable. Web3 gaming isn't the future. It's the settings menu for the future. Follow me for more, but not blindly.
Amazing.
That's it.
That's awesome. I really love it.
So who's Dottie talking to? TikTok audiences, or who's the target audience for Dottie?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Dottie is basically an opinion leader in gaming and in Polkadot. We will be, covering Roblox games, news within gaming and in Polkadot. And she's just there to entertain, delight, and surprise. So follow her on, X, on Instagram, on YouTube. We'll probably be creating a LinkedIn soon as well, where she just helps get the message out.
LinkedIn, poor girl. All right. We're out of time now, but we got a lot of positive emoji reactions there, so I think people are pretty stoked about this. Thank you for coming and sharing this great progress. Always nice to see. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Jay.
All right, sweet. We're going to move on to Jasky now, who wants to give us an update on Poke Assembly and I think a roadmap for the future. Jasky, what's up, dude?
Yeah, I think we've had Bhavya come up here a couple of times, share what's happening, how's the platform doing, what user interaction looks like today, and I hope everybody's been enjoying the upgraded experience. I think the numbers speak for themselves, and I wanted to just give a quick TLDR on where we are with the proposal and the roadmap that we suggested. Of course, when we went live with the proposal, we were clear that we're splitting to first fix things that are wrong and get everything in shape and get platform to a place where everybody enjoys using it again. And I think we're there. And now there is a lot more that we are working on that I wanted to quickly share with everyone and hopefully get some ideas.
Great.
So I'll quickly pull up the presentation. So yeah, it's the proposal update and road ahead. Current status of the proposal that we made. The proposal was split between some development budget and maintenance budget for rest of the year, while the maintenance is an ongoing process. Regarding development, we're done with 85% of the work. We plan to ship everything before the end of July. Potentially some features rolling over to maybe in August. Crash rates are down by 99%, so hopefully nobody is experiencing any more crashes on Pulk Assembly at all while using the product or any feature. And it has reflected in our monthly active users, which are up. Session time that people are spending on the platform is also up. And we're happy to see that everybody's enjoying the platform again. The app went live. In the previous proposal, we got critique from the community that we should not be focusing on the app, which was fair considering the main platform was broken. Regardless, since we had promised and were funded for shipping the app, we have the app live. We'll be doing more efforts to bring more adoption to the app, but we have stopped development on the app because the community suggested so. We still feel the app has a lot more potential, so we're gonna bring up a couple of more feedback sessions and user interviews on that front to see if there is interest in development of the app further and if we should keep on developing or leave it where it is. And yeah, there are some very new interesting updates that we've been sharing with a lot of users in private UX interviews that we've been conducting. So we've had over 25, 30 UX interviews individually. We've just completed the UX bounty audit, and the results of it are being implemented already. So there are some really new upgraded designs that are coming to the overview page, making everything that we've built accessible, right from identity flow to delegation dashboard to everything else, and bring a lot more visibility to everything that's happening in the ecosystem. There's a proxy explorer that's coming, a judgment dashboard that's coming. We're building a community section which will have a lot of things. It will also include an AI powered page on AG, essentially a community page for people to be able to come and just get a summary of each and every AG that happened and be able to link to proposals directly. Notifications have got a slight AI upgrade and are now way more interactive. So you can just interact with the platform through the notifications itself. And yeah, quickly, not taking a lot of time from everyone. What's next? So we're very excited to introduce Clara. Clara is a small AI agent chatbot that we've built. We've been working with an AI engineer we've onboarded over the past couple of months to get this up. This is essentially your navigator through the product and the Polkadot OpenGov ecosystem. So it has knowledge base pretty much everything that there is, and which keeps getting updated with each proposal and everything that's happening. And it just allows you to use Polk assembly better, understand each and everything that happens in Polkadot. And it also has a Telegram assistant, which we'll first add to our Telegram group. And eventually, the goal is that that agent, which solves pretty much all governance queries, once it's in a stable shape, gets added to other Polkadot channels where any governance related question can be addressed by the Clara agent. So we have the Telegram bot also ready, which we plan to take live next week along with the chatbot. It's a basic chatbot, and we see that a lot more AI work is happening in the ecosystem. We've been speaking to the Claris team as well, and we plan to integrate them and not build what they're building, right? Why Clara is very important. Polkadot's governance has a bunch of challenges, and we were facing it ourselves. We were getting constant queries of the same questions regarding the platform or OpenGov or issues that come about like people chain, identity, my vote balance, my wallet's logged, my money's logged, and everything else. So this is an AI powered agent that addresses and answers everything and makes just using Polk assembly and navigating governance way easy for especially new users. And yeah, this is a list of what's next. So the Proxy Explorer is coming. We have a lot more analytics, a lot of them being AI powered. We feel Clara is our first step to what we think can be done with AI in governance. And we're very excited to build everything else. So we're building a unified registrar flow so that we've built a seamless experience for people to verify their identity and get judgment from us. We feel that can be scaled to all registrars, and it is a great product. So we do plan to do that. We have an open source AI powered delegation bot in work where essentially you can start giving it your own persona. You can give it your own voting criterias, and it constantly learns from your memory, like your voting behavior, as in why you voted on a proposal in a particular way, and eventually goes on to a place where you can just delegate your voting power to it, run it locally, so we don't hold any private keys, and you can just have it do governance on your own. We feel as we this out to more and more people on the platform, governance participation should go up significantly because people will just have their AI delegates doing a lot more governance work and constantly monitor what they're doing. We have a couple of other small AI products that we plan to build, which is like a proposal analyzer, which helps new people, especially, analyze their proposals before even they go live so that they can get some feedback. It's trained on all past successful proposal data and some guidelines that have been set by Parity and everybody else so that people are able to create better proposals and making it easy for everybody in the ecosystem to analyze, and so that people often miss information or have things that people don't see. All of it is going to be there. We've also built, actually are working on a proposal impact dashboard, essentially which analyzes all root track proposals and critical proposals that change things on chain and can impact various apps which keep breaking. So this is essentially an AI powered bot that will run on all code bases, uh, UI and backend for all Polkadot open source apps, and give a very detailed analysis on what impact will happen on that app based on whatever on-chain governance is going live. So we're very excited about this product. We feel it is a direct impact product that can help everybody in the ecosystem. And of course, there's been a long time pending request to move from Google Docs to a more structured data format. So of course, IPFS, and that is where we're exploring Crust and Epilion as well. So yeah, first, thanks again for everybody who supported us in the previous proposal and believe that we can deliver a great product again. And hopefully everybody's been enjoying the new experience. And we're excited to go to the next phase and have everybody participate with us and brainstorm ideas on what else can be done with AI and governance.
All right, thanks. Looks like we have a few seconds left. We had a quick question from Tommy. Okay. Well, let's go to Spectre. He's got his hand up first, and then we'll go to you, Tommy. Very quick questions and answers, please.
Yeah, just very quickly. So these new UI and UX updates, when exactly do they come out?
Most of them are already live, so if you can see the platform a lot more, like a new UI and UX is already live, which is way faster than what it was a couple of months ago. The new things that we showed here are all going live in July. So before end of July, pretty much everything that you saw here and we've been proposed in the previous proposal is all going to be live.
End of July.
Yeah, before end of July. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Tommy?
Do you like how much effort do you anticipate will the transition to Hub take from your team? It's like a general question. I tried to figure out like how much this will be an effort for the ecosystem.
There is some work that is already ongoing. I will have to check with the dev team on exactly how long do we think it will take. We're talking to the parity team as well, like a couple of folks, Raul and a couple of others, to see what all is needed and if we need any support. But yeah, we are prepared and ready for the migration.
All right, thanks.
Cool. All right, Jasky, thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks.
Let's keep moving now with the first presentation for today. This is Ref 1634, Polkadot Community Foundation, Politecchino del Milano. Hold on, Politecchino de Milano Blockchain and Web3 Observatory 2025 partnership. Okay, sorry. All right, what do you guys want to say here? This is for 59.24 thousand USDC. Guys, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Patrizia from Polkadot Italia, and I'm happy to introduce our proposal for a strategic partnership with the blockchain and Web3 Observatory of the Politecnico di Milano for this year.
Nice.
Our team truly believe in this value of this collaboration because the Politecnico di Milano is ranked one in Italy and 21 for the worldwide in the engineering and technology. And its blockchain and Web3 Observatory has become a player in Europe when it became a blockchain research, regulation, and enterprises engagement. But Giacomo will dive deeper into this in just a moment. And so it's better than me to explain this side in these topics. By partnership with such a respected institution, Polkadot has the opportunity to strengthen its institutional presence and become a solution for the enterprises in Europe and rapidly evolving in Web3 landscape. This is our point of view for this proposal. We are aiming for a partner level sponsorship that would allow us to connect directly with institutions and regulators through workshops and conferences, and exclusive access to academic research, policies reports, and innovation hub. And be featured in key reports, events, and policies discussion, boosting Polkadot visibility and through a European level, not only in Italy. Just to be clear, this initiative isn't aimed for students. We are focusing on reaching enterprises, regulators, and central banks, and Web3 builders, the people shaping the future of the blockchain in Europe. We would partnership with me in practice. Our course is just 1 year, and we would reach 10K professionals through the observatory events and media coverage, promote Polkadot technology over 300 enterprises and institutions, organize 4 dedicated workshops in Milan and 2 major conferences, including one in Paris, and co-author academic and policies research and one of the Europe top universities. And now let me introduce Giacomo from the Politecnico to explain better the position of of this observatory in the Web3 world. Giacomo?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrizia, and hello, everyone. Glad
Welcome.
to be here. So just let me share a couple of slides. A second. Okay, perfect. So just to give you a quick overview of what we are doing here in Milan at the Politecnico. We are part of a big research center inside the Politecnico in the management engineering department. We are around 150 researchers, both academic and researchers, and divided between around 50 different research teams on different digital technologies or different industries. And I'm the director of the blockchain and Web3 observatory. Our research model is not the traditional academic one, but is mostly focused on doing research and interact with companies and regulators and institutions. So sorry if I am a little bit with a few slides that are marketing oriented. This one are also what we use when we are talking with companies. So we get funded by companies or protocols, blockchain project in general. And we try to connect research that is business oriented, like I said, to directly to companies by organizing events and sharing this research with companies and creating networking events in which different companies, all in the blockchain ecosystem, can discuss together the results of the research, can create partnership, can let's say understand how to do business in the Web3. And we try to do this with all the relevant institutions, especially in Italy, but also at the European level. Just to give you an idea of some number, Patrizia already said something. Let's say that we are active since 2017. Each year we have different workshops, all attended by companies interested in blockchain. And at the end of the year, we have a big public conference that we can say is the biggest event on blockchain technology in Italy, in which we have more than 2,000 registration. And these are all business professionals. So we are not targeting students with this initiative. Of course, we do also teaching to students, but not inside the observatory. We have visibility also on social media. We create workshop and activities also at an international level. We did with workshop at UCL, at USD, also the European Parliament in Brussels. And this year, like Patrizia already said, we will be also in Paris to interact with companies, startups, and institutions that are in France. This just to give you an idea of what are the companies that are part of our community, of our observatory. We have different companies from the consultancy, IT providers, but also startups, a lot of banks and financial institutions, some crypto native actors, some protocol that are starting to come into our nectar, and also an advisory board of public institutions like Bank of Italy, like the Italian SEC, like the European Commission. So every actor that is kind of involved in the blockchain ecosystem and want to know more about this technology and how to create a project and to develop this market. So that was in a nutshell what we do. And I'm happy if you have some question to get deeper in this topic.
We just have less than a minute left here, but okay, Tommy, go ahead.
Hey, thank you for the proposal. It looks very interesting. I would be I think what I would need to vote yes on a proposal is the understanding if with what kind of business developers within Polkadot you're working, to make sure when you hold those events that we have the right people there to, like, when we make connections and introductions, to onboard them further into the process of getting to know Polkadot.
Okay, we're at time, so let's get a very concise answer, please.
Yeah, for sure. Patrizia, maybe.
Sorry. We wanted to involve the direct people organizing workshop with a different team. This proposal did not include the workshop course for this reason, because we wanted to choose the better people in our ecosystem to represent our ecosystem. So our team working for the follow-up, the reports, and so on, because we wanted to create connection and networking with the people on the events and with the Polytechnical. But our presence in every single workshop and event is studied and created for the specific events. So it's not for us simple to organize this type of activity now, but monthly we decide and connecting the various people. That's our idea. Sorry.
All right, thank you very, very much.
Okay.
When we see you guys again, something I'd be really interested to have super clear and laid out is the results that we anticipate having if we do this spend. So specifically, what are the goals we get at the end? Some really tangible things. We heard kind of a lot of stuff there, but it'd be nice to distill it down a bit.
Okay. Should we answer right now or
next time? We're out of time here. I'm just saying it'd be nice to get some
Just-
clarification there. Now we have a ways to go here. Just less than a week into the decision period, but currently 98.1% support for you folks with 1DV in play already. Let's see who it is. Poker World on the I side. Very nice to see. All right, thanks very much, guys, for coming on.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on now to Dudo. Welcome back, sir. You've been busy.
Hey Jay, I'm very busy actually.
147.95 thousand USDC to continue your work on Paraspell. Looking forward to this update, sir. We're going to put 8 minutes on the clock. What do you want to say?
Nice, thank you. So I originally wanted to start with the features that we have been able to progress in those 5 months. But I'm first going to answer, or not answer, but mention the things that are not in the proposal. So maybe it also is important to know for some people. So regarding our move from Kusama to Polkadot, we previously were on Kusama, but we've decided to move to Polkadot at the moment currently because we want to increase our team from 2 members to 3 members. And then also the maintenance period from 6 months to 12 months in order to give some certainty to those developers that will be increasing. And also we also are going to have a bounty pool which is meant for developers that wish to contribute to Paraspell, because we've had a couple of requests that people want to contribute to our stack, which we would be really glad to accept just as is, but we would feel a bit guilty for them doing work and we don't have any way to reward them. So we decided to have like this initiative, which may be also something that other applications may take a note of, to create this bounty for developers that wish to contribute to this open source tool stack. And we will reward every bug that is found and every PR that is created in order to resolve the bugs. But I didn't mention what is Paraspell because I was never on Polkadot AAG. I was on AAGs. So Paraspell is essentially a XCM hub of it's actually hub of tools for XCM. So basically, It abstracts the complexities of the XCM for developers, allowing you to implement the XCM in like one line instead of like having all those lengthy calls. And we have gradually progressed from simple cross-chain transfers into some interesting, more complex scenarios. So let me talk about that. So in the SDK, we have moved from just those transfers that I mentioned. We now allow for local transfers as well. So that's for any chain that we support and for any asset that is registered on that chain. We also allow for custom fee assets on specific chains. So if you wish to send, for example, we support this on Hydration and Asset Hub. So if you want on Asset Hub, normally you would pay fees in DOT, but so let's say you don't have DOT, you have USDT. So you can send XCM and pay a fee in USDT instead of DOT. Then we have built WebSocket pools because we were facing issues when we were basically connecting and disconnecting from the WebSockets right away. So we built the WebSocket pools. So now the SDK stores the WebSockets that you connected to, and it destroys them only after a certain time. So that the interaction is also more like instant than before, when it had to initiate each time you wanted to create the message. Then we have introduced XCM fee queries, which are actually really complex and really interesting, because we allow you to basically know everything about the fees when building the cross-chain call. So you can also check the balance that you had before, the balance that you would have after. You can check what is the amount of the fee, what is the currency that the fee is going to be paid, and details like this. You can also query the maximal amount of the specific asset that you wish to transfer. And we have tested it, and it is exact for a plank. So the number that it writes you, when you put it into the call, it leaves you with the 0 on the original chain, which is really cool. Then we also enhanced the dry run. Before we were only checking on origin, which I think we are the first in the ecosystem actually to also check on the other chains. So we are checking on the hops, so the chains that the XCM goes through, and also on destinations. So you can see a clear process of your XCM, and you can be certain that the XCM will arrive and execute correctly to the chain. Actually, to the chains that support the dry run, because currently not every chain supports the dry run, which we are pushing towards. And then we also have this tool called XCM Router, which allows you to do cross-chain swaps. We have fully migrated the tool to Puppy. I didn't mention, but the SDK is already in Puppy. Then we had originally Router do the cross-chain swaps in 3 signatures, which is sent from origin to exchange the asset, and sent from exchange to the destination. We then made the advancement and made it 2 signature. So the XCM from origin to exchange state, but on exchange, we batched the call. So we did the swap and the XCM to destination in one call in a batch. So this was a two signature flow, sorry. And then actually today we have merged another advancement, and we have been, I think, first in the ecosystem that enabled this to developers to do one-click cross-chain swaps. So the way it works is it uses the execute instruction, and you can choose any chain that supports the execute as the origin, and basically we handle everything for you. So you only do one signature, and you can choose any asset on Hydration for any asset on Hydration, or you can choose any asset on Asset Hub. These 2 exchanges are supported for the one-click transfers. And then also on Asset Hub, we have made some advancement, because currently the pools that are on Asset Hub are only assets. The assets can be only swapped for DOT. But we have allowed users to do swap per se from asset to asset, because what we did in the 2-click scenario is that we have batched another swap. So first swap from the original asset to dot, and then from dot to another asset that you wished. And this is also available in 1-click transfers. So we were also able to package this into the execute instruction, which is also another advancement. And currently, we are working on adding testnets because we haven't had them, and we have a pile of requests to add them. So currently, that is on agenda. And another thing that we are working on with Parity is actually with Cisco, is that we wish to include Paraspell into interoperability section of official Polkadot docs. So every developer that comes to the ecosystem takes Paraspell as the go-to tools, because we think that the interoperability section in Polkadot docs is currently not where it should be. It only contains information for parachain builders, not for users trying to build applications. So we are out of time.
Yes. Nice update and great contributions. Quick rundown of key ecosystem agents or projects that are using the product now.
Yes, so I have written them into a proposal. We are aware of 10 at the moment, but there are much more for sure, but they are private, so we don't know of them. So Turtle from Velocity Labs, Subwallet, Polymech, Coradot, Multics, Asset Portal, Polkadot AI Agent Kit, Encointer, PolkaSafe, and Elastic. Those are the ones that we know of, the teams that contacted us and that we are working with every day, resolving any issues that come up for them. And we are happy to have much more in the future.
Great. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome back to discuss more as more votes come in. Obviously, very early here, just what are we, a few days? 2.5 days into the decision period, so we'll definitely check on this next week. Thanks for coming back. Oh,
Yeah,
welcome to
thank you.
Polkadot AAG.
Yes, thank you.
Very cool. All right, we're going to move on now to Ref 1624, 49,200 USDT. And this currently is almost halfway through the decision period with 36.8% of DOT in play supportive of the project. We have the folks from Luno Lab here. I think we have Chris and who else? Chris, are you there?
Yeah, BG.
Yeah, I'm BG. Yeah.
BG, welcome, guys. Welcome to the show. I'm going to put 8 minutes on the clock, and you can share whatever you wish about this ref.
Okay. I think just 1 second.
Okay.
I think first I mean I just I think just 1 second.
Okay.
I think the key here, the message here, I think here is I think we are mainly talking about I think where I think it's very key. I mean, infrastructure proposal. We all know. I think we all know about. I mean, the challenge of the Polkadot, right? So I think we don't need to mention too much about it. But I think several of the things look to point out is that on one hand, I think the development is pretty complicated. On the other hand, I think the user experiences, etc. But I think that's why that assume that we have the Polkadot hub, right? But we're trying to build to integrate the liquidity and also to connect to different kinds of DApps to become the ecosystem center. So I think the Polkadot hub is not just the neutral, the relay chain. It will become the kind of the multi-chain entry point, which can have the product prototype. So it just not only to, I think is not just to concentrate the liquidity of the dot, and also by the deploying on the substrate and EVM application. And also I think Polkadot Hub will also to embody the smart contract and the unified unified, the account system. And also you will become the default deployment playground for the app developers. All these things are great, except we think there is something that missing, which is a pretty important part, which is the developers toolkit are not ready yet. So I think that's why that Chris is, and his colleague and Brian are developing this Lunar Kit. I think this mainly is, this Lunar Kit is mainly focusing on the developers experience, and also to increase the efficiency. The key value here, I think there will be four parts. The first part I think is very straightforward, is to unify the connection SDK for the wallets, so which will enable the 10 minutes to plug in the mainstream wallets. So this is we can see the very similar stuffs in Ethereum. So WalkMe and Rainbow Kit. So this is something like it's a very similar, right? So I think Lunar Key is using the TypeScript plus React hooks to provide the standard developing method. So I think in this way, one of the pain points we mentioned before, with this complicated developer experience, and also the complicated substrate and Rust, etc., will be solved. You just plug in. It's very easy, 10-minute plugging. Second, I think the key value is to support the dual address format of substrate and EVM. So this will become, I think, the real stuffs that the developer will need after the hub has been initiated. Once you plug in once, you can handle two formats, at the same time. This again lower the barriers, and also make the developers can more focus on something that really where they can really provide the value. And thirdly, I think is to componentize the UI, just to reduce those, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So from the connect model, asset panel, to the chain switcher, all these are can just open the box, and also can optimize. So this is to increase the consistency and the visibilities of the UI. I think the fourth, is embedded, on-chain data subscription and cache logic. So this is to solve another problems of the developers, which means that they need to manually handle the Polkadot derive and RPC problems. So we can using the functions of the use subscription to achieve the automatic cache, and also the problem solving. So of course that these are the values of the Lunar kits, but if we want to make Lunar Kit really, to be made functional, we also need to have several challenges here. I think the first one is whether it can become the ecosystem standard. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to deploy. Of course, this one we need endorsements, and especially from the Dottie house, and also from Polkadot. Secondly, how can we maintain the compatibility and the maintenance? So because that the APIs of the wallets will update frequently, so it needs a maintenance group in the long term. I think thirdly, how to build a sustainable model is just to, of course, at the very beginning is maybe need a little bit treasury, a DAO support, but in the futures, probably also we need to open the bars as a BAS, these kind of things to make it can work by themselves. So I think overall, I think the Polkadot currently, I think is, we are transitioning from the protocol oriented to the product oriented. This is kind of the ecosystem transition. And Lunar Kit is, I think, the key infrastructures, one of the key infrastructures. So I mean, the little kit does not solve these macro problems in the consensus, or the cross chain sectors. But we are just tackling a very straightforward stuff. Lower the barriers of development, increase user experience. So I mean, all these things will push the Polkadot Hub become, I think, the real robust product ecosystem. So it's very simple. We are just staying behind. We'll make things work, and then that the rest of the developers will become more and more coming. And not just the Polkadot developers. I think we are also hoping to attract those developers on the Ethereum realm. So this is something that we want to say, and of course we hope that we can get the support.
Okay, excuse me, BG. Sorry to interrupt. We just have 15 seconds left, and a very important agent here, Tommy, has a quick question for you. So he's going to give you a quick question and a quick answer from you, okay? And then we'll hear more about it next time. Go ahead, Tommy.
Go.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I tried to find a little bit about your background. I checked the proposal, I checked GitHub, but I'm missing a lot of context. Could you tell me a little bit about the backstory? Like what's your role in Polkadot right now, or a little bit about your past?
Yeah.
I think that Chris is mainly on the product manager, and then another developers, Brian, is a key developers to develop the infrastructures and co-developers. I'm the ex-colleagues of Chris. We are used to be in the BVM, or called GB, used to be also based on the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Do you have any history working in Polkadot, or does any of your team members have any history of working in Polkadot?
No, it's not me. I think Chris. Yes, they have a lot of. Yes, Chris, and also both Chris and Brian. They have a lot of experience on Polkadot. And on one hand, used to that at the very beginning, I think the developed is called ChainX. Used to the first BTC layer 2, which is based on the substrate chain.
Yeah.
Also including the EVM compatible, etc. And also developed the all-chain DeFi products called OmniBTC. And also
OmniBTC.
Yes, also Omni Lending.
You remember that?
And also as well as the coming chat.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh yeah. By the way, it's relevant to say that BG is kind of here as a representative because of some language barriers. So that's part of the situation here. Okay, BG. Thank you very much for coming on and representing the project like this today. If you'd like more time, another week, please just let us know. I think one lingering question would be, because you mentioned, you kind of need buy-in from the ecosystem. So a question, not for now, but for next time, I'd be just curious to know, like, who are you already speaking to who might be supportive of this, especially people very close to the hub and all these initiatives that you mentioned. Okay, but thank you very much for coming on the show.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. We're going to move on now to discussions, and we have Chris from Learn Polkadot. He's back with the rewards program powered by Polkadot. Now, this is with having to do with the Inter Miami app. You guys came in with, I think, a $300,000 proposal. Tyler's here as well. I don't think that passed, but completely undeterred, you're back with a different approach. And you're putting that on screen right now. We'll put 8 minutes on the clock, and why don't you catch us up to speed on what's happening here?
Yeah, the initial proposal all in was 500,000.
Oh, 500.
Yeah, the same goal, the same mission. Real quick on community partnerships and people representing the brand, I want to give a shout out to Ryan and James again.
Oh, yeah.
And Salvatore for the work they did at the University of Miami. I think that was incredible. And a shout out to the Events Bounty for getting flights and the partnership fees. But back to this partnership thing with Inter Miami. Initially, when we took it to the community, it was voted on. It was a marketing and brand play, right? The big thing we got worked into it was the ability to explore a fan engagement app. I'm at the MLS at the beginning went out of their way to create a blockchain technologies category that we fit into, because we didn't really fit into the crypto category. We didn't fit into the finance. We're about technology. And it took a lot of work to get the rights to explore this fan engagement app. And there's been a lot of work. I know some people think it's easy, but it's mostly legalities, and Tyler can probably go into this a little bit more. But what we try to do with this partnership is leverage it to the best of its ability to bring new players to the ecosystem. I'll let Tyler talk a little bit about Smart Media Technologies and themselves. Alan Vey actually reached out to us about 2 years ago about the idea of a fan engagement app. He introduced us to Stuart Galactic, who put up the last proposal, which is doing prediction markets. And the timing when we kind of launched that and came to ask for funding didn't pan out so perfectly. Like, we got MLS approval the same time that like they were going live with their SI Predicts model. They were actually the ones that introduced us to Smart Media Technologies. So for everybody wondering, Smart Media Technologies were always part of the play. We were going to use their platform for the fan engagement app. And we've kind of scaled back just the scope and the funding that we're asking for. So initially we were asking for $500,000 to build out the fan engagement app, utilize it through the end of the year. It would be a year license for the club, so if they wanted to extend it longer, they would do so. What we're looking for now is the licensing fees for the platform. And normally on activations, like for partnerships and budgets, like the average amount that's spent like on activations is around 45%. We're looking for less than like 4% here to use towards activating and fulfilling, you know, the objective of this sponsorship with Inter Miami, because we finally did get the rights approved to it. So a little background about like SMT and Tyler, and then I'll pass it over to him to do some introductions and leave a little time for Q&As. Tyler's background, he's worked in the ad space, came from Web2. They were one of the first platforms probably out there to integrate with NFTs. The co-founder, Reeve Collins, was actually the co-founder of Tether and the CEO in 2015. They've got a lot of different fan engagement platforms that they've built. Can run down the list, whether it's the NBA, Manchester City, the Olympics. The Olympics partnership was kind of similar to ours, where it was like testing the waters. One thing that I'm proud of, though, with this relationship with Inter Miami, because it kind of started out them questioning crypto and the whole thing, they really became a true partner in the city of Miami and introduced us to several different people. And there's a lot of technical opportunities, but this whole fan engagement app is like a date with the club to show them that, hey, we have people in the ecosystem that are capable, the technology can handle it. So with that, I'll pass it over to Tyler and let the community get introduced to Smart Media Technologies and himself.
Great, thanks, Chris. Hi, everyone. Tyler Mabius, founder, CEO of SMT. I'll kind of just pull through a couple of slides here, just really quickly. As Chris said, started my journey in 1997 with my co-founder and Reeve Collins, and went down the blockchain rabbit hole in 2015. Since then, we are now the Web3 infrastructure provider for Visa, for Accenture, for the Olympics, FIFA. We've worked with, yes?
No, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And really have been focused heavily on the fan engagement side, as Chris had said, with the NBA, Manchester City, and really we're brought in from the sponsor's point of view. So in this case, OKX has their investment. They need to start driving real outcomes in terms of educating people on the value of Web3. We have over 10 million custodial wallets under management on our platform. 99.9% of those people have no idea that it's actually a Web3 wallet, because it's just a 2-click onboarding and it's a really cool fan experience. Our real value prop is around being able to onboard those fans, engage those fans through points. So we see up like a polka dot point for Inter Miami, and then being able to put those points on chain so that they own those points and they don't lose value, and they can then, you know, start to pay with those points within our integrated marketplace. So we have a rewards marketplace where fans can redeem those points, and they can do that through augmented reality. So we can make it rain polka dot surprise and delight boxes that can be picked up in augmented reality every time Inter Miami scores or what have you. So Really focused on driving fan engagement both at the game and at home, for fans in their living rooms, and being able to drive that both during the season and postseason between the Flames. So as part of that, you see here. We have worked with Inway in the Olympics. You guys need to understand that Web3 NFTs, as you know, is very scary for enterprise companies and for teams and so forth. I think the biggest value that SMT brings is that we are doing this for the most iconic brands and teams because of our experience from a Web2 standpoint, from a regulatory compliance, we're SOC 2, Type 2, and with a few phone calls with the club, they quickly saw our expertise, our ability to get on the phone with their lawyers, walk them through how, you know, we have a platform that allows us to be able to manage fan engagement in a traditional sense, and then be able to bring certain assets on chain as we see fit in a very compliant way. And so that's really going to be the key to unlocking the Inter Miami partnership, of moving it from, you know, brand and awareness of Polkadot to actually putting Polkadot into the hands of Inter Miami fans. And I suggest anybody to please go to myolympicrewards.com or scan the QR code here. You'll see it's a very, you know, seamless digital experience. We are creating a Web3 wallet behind the scenes. All of those objects and experiences you're interacting with are tokenized, and the entire experience is pretty seamless. And I think we'll give you a good sense of what with the approval of this, what we would be spinning up in as little as 4 to 5 weeks to get the Polkadot fan app live before the end.
All right, it looks like time is up. Apparently gassing up the timer does not mean he will extend your time on AAG.
I tried.
Angie's got a quick question.
Okay, quick question. Given Mythical's strong relationship with FIFA, is there any possibility to integrate or use it as use FIFA Rivals as an example, or somehow?
Yeah, we've talked. We actually took on to a matchup in Philadelphia strictly for this reason, and there's a lot of legalities. And Tyler, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, one of the things that like even gave us this opportunity is Tyler's credibility and street cred. But yeah, Inter Miami, from their standpoint, I'm not going to talk for them, but I am. They won in the game like yesterday. But MLS is the governing body, right? And MLS says, well, we want X number of people or X number of clubs in the game. Well, only so many qualify for the Club World Cup, which is another little marketing thing that we got that we weren't part of. I'm at Inter Miami, just for those non-sports fans, became the first CONCACAF team to qualify and advance to the round of 16. The first MLS team to advance to the round of 16. And when Messi was the superior player of the match the other day, like numbers through the roof in his interview with Polkadot on. But Angie, yes, that is the dream. And we've connected John with people at the club to try to help coax MLS. We actually had a meeting with the commissioner of the MLS last week when I was down in Miami. And it was interesting that in that room, there was the deputy CEO of Bayern Munich, the president of operations for Inter Miami, the commissioner of MLS, and 90% of their conversations were emerging technologies. And they want in. If like, we don't take advantage of this, which it's not up to me, it's up to the community. Like, somebody else is going to fill this space. I mean, Tyler's going to 100%. They work with various other protocols. He likes the Polkadot tech. I would love to bring them on here, but
let's follow up after, because I was just thinking more of like showing FIFA Rivals on the app, because you've got 10 million wallets.
Correct.
Come with the game.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask anyone permission for that. That could be cool.
Sharing is caring, and it's the same sport, right?
All right, great. Very interesting. I'd be really happy if you came back and we could talk about this more next time. Real quick question. Last time you came with Galactic as the app provider, are you still working with them, or is this a different provider?
Yeah, so on that, Galactic did enter. I mean, SMT was always part of the play, right?
Oh, okay,
There was a relationship there. So the idea is that we're going to launch this app and we're going to show the club and the community. Hopefully we onboard users. And there's still the openness to integrate the prediction side of it and everything else with Galactic 100%.
Sweet. Okay, yeah, just wanted to tie that all together there. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. And this is going to go on chain by next week, or a little bit more discussion?
The plans next week is
all right. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Okay, before we move on to some refs we've already seen, we have one more new discussion to discuss. And I'm the presenter. And what I want to do is I want to try to share my screen here just like everybody else does so flawlessly. Let's see if we can do it here while allowing people to... Yes. And then if I also go over here, okay. Anybody on the call, if this isn't working out, just let me know. But I think it should work out. Okay, everybody, this is .rfp #1, crowdsourced research for cap supply and step change inflation. I've been rattling on about this on the timeline recently, and we've had a lot of interesting feedback. The thought here is, well, it's an interesting idea to cap the supply of DOT and go from this nice smooth inflation curve to more of a step change curve like they have on Bitcoin. But before we do anything drastic or even propose it on chain, we should do some research. Now, should we do some research behind closed doors and somebody comes and presents a little report to us? Or could we crowdsource the answers to a lot of questions? I think the latter. So what we've done is, yeah, we're going to launch this ref, well, as soon as the final supervisor gives me his address so we can create the multisig. This is going to be an RFP on Polkadot on the big tipper track. The total reward here is going to be 7,750 USDC. Now, the supervisors for this RFP is going to be myself, Mark Hatchia from SciTail, and Rob Habermeyer, who's working on Nomt. I guess he was also the co-founder of Polkadot, but he's curious to find answers to some of these questions. So he's participating as well. And this is a very solid supervisor committee. How it's going to work is we're going to have a Telegram chat. We have a group of a huge list of questions that I'll show you in a second. And then anybody in the ecosystem can contribute answers or outcomes to some of the actionable items. And we'll have discretionary rewards out of this $7,750 pot. Yeah, to find some answers. So this idea of capped dot supply and a step change inflation curve came from Gavin, actually. And so here's a short clip of him in the Gray Paper interview that was released April 28th, 2024.
At the moment, the dot token economics were basically, largely pie in the sky, 10%. One of the notable things about Bitcoin is the step curve, this halvening. What's that about? Like, why not just make it on a nice curve? Why have these discrete events? It is a Schelling point. It's a natural point that humans can use to form agreement. It's not that it forces them into agreement, but it gives them this default point of agreement. And it turns out this can be very useful in economic systems, to have a very default, or in general social systems, to have a very default point of agreement. It creates waves. The steps in Bitcoin form Schelling points of market activity. People do more stuff around the time of the step. But I think it's an interesting question, and I've been asked it from a few different people, whether it might be sensible to bring in such economic Schelling points, like into a Polkadot issuance scheme. This model, I think, is kind of an interesting one. It provides a nice, very shallow curve going from the rewards that are happening at the moment into a fixed final amount model that isn't too aggressive.
What I find really fascinating about this stretch of musings that he does, and in the full video, it's actually 18 minutes long. He proposes this kind of shallow step curve. It's kind of much less aggressive than the Bitcoin halving, but he talks about the value of the Bitcoin halving as well. But I think the key takeaway here is that he's talking about tokenomics in a kind of human-centric way. And he talks about his initial impulse to have these kind of nice, smooth mathematical curves, and his how he was kind of puzzled by Bitcoin's step curve. But he makes this admission that, well, the step curve, like he said in this clip here, kind of creates these moments that humans, who are the real actors here, right, can kind of gather around. And so that's what this whole capping the supply and step curve inflation suggestion is really getting at here. I think a lot of people with kind of engineering mindsets or a scientific mindset, they're kind of ruffled. This kind of ruffles their feathers to talk about it in this way. And we've had lots of people contributing these thoughts on the timeline. We actually had, let's see here. Yeah, Tugi was gently roasting my chestnuts here with this subtweet: vibe tokenomics, changing parameters based on feelings. I mean, it's a good point, right? Like if you kind of think in this very logical way, something that seems kind of like I don't know, messy, like these step change in inflation, as well as capping the supply for a proof of stake network that basically relies on inflation to exist. There definitely seems a little icky, but my thinking, my hypothesis, and some other people seem to agree, is that tokenomics are really about vibes and feelings more than math, and token holder behavior is human, not mathematical. And so we're just going to ask a bunch of questions and see if we can find some answers. Because yeah. Oh, by the way, I just want to say Tugi revealed this saw on his home improvement project that he's doing. I think it's an incredible saw, and I hope that all of his planning and measurements are going well. And he's definitely not doing any vibe construction on his house right now. I hope it's all going well over there. So anyway, yeah. What would this tokenomic structure look like for Polkadot? This RFP, this Big Tipper RFP, this crowdsourced exploration of the concept is going to give us more information to make decisions by. It's not going to put anything on chain. It's not going to change inflation. It's not going to change tokenomics, but it is going to give us more clarity, and it's going to allow us to do it together and in a nice open way. Here is the initial list of questions that we want answers to. Some questions have very simple answers. Some have more complex answers. Some are not questions at all, but are actually kind of outcomes that we're looking for. This list is going to grow with the discourse around this RFP. Rob, for instance, has a few he wants to add right now that he's put in my DM, so those will be added, and any questions you may have are going to be added as well. But simple questions like how much DOT has been created so far? How much has been burned? What are some non-inflation revenue sources that we might be able to lean on after inflation stops? We want to model out different possible inflation schedules. What other ecosystems have cap supplies in the top 100? Are there any ecosystems that have gone from infinite inflation to cap supplies? How did that go? How would we actually propose this in OpenGov? Can we do a cap supply in OpenGov? These are all valid questions that we should have answers to, and we're going to do it together. The research for these questions and more will conclude at the end of this month. And after that, any extra funds will be returned by Mark, Rob, and I. That's the idea. Oh boy, we got some questions on the panel already. Let's hear from Tommy, who has it first.
All right, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I appreciate the initiative. Like I have different positions, but I appreciate the research. From the discussions I see on Twitter is that many people say we're working so much on the supply side of things, but what about the demand side, right? And then I can respond, yeah, there is a lot of initiatives on the demand side. But I think the realization is if you really want to have a capped supply, what you need on the other side is to basically take money into the treasury that you can, or some kind of the part of the protocol that you can later on give to collators and validators for block production.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So the research, I think there's like if you want to run research, it should also like provide some modeling tools so that we can model like what kind of revenue would the protocol need to be able to pay out as a security budget in the future.
Yes, indeed. And in fact, we have those here at number 4. So what non-inflation revenue sources do we have available? Right now, there are four that have been brought up. Fees, especially from the hub. And, oh, wait, where are we here? Sorry, I'm on the wrong one. Yeah, fees, especially from the hub. Core time, which is currently being burned. MEV, which is something that Rob is really interested in. And something that Pierre from Parity is spearheading here is revenue from services built on top of the infrastructure, which is the way Google did it. So we just had Berto on the podcast, for instance, and he's talking about the Polkadot app being owned by the DAO. So that's an example. Pixel Proof is another example. And the question is, are there others?
You also have revenue from protocol-owned liquidity. So, for example, like
nice,
we gave something to Bifrost, and then they returned more. And then the
Yes.
same thing when like the enterprises that Angie is going into, where Polkadot invests into projects, and then there is revenue coming back.
Thank you, dude.
What would be nice is sort of if you could model it like the Excel you created before, but we're saying like if we made such and such revenue from core time and from hub, etc., and could model that into the future, I think that would make sense because these are the revenue streams we're ramping up in the future.
Not only in the future, but going forward. And I also in here, it'd be nice to model the revenues of other chains, right? We see like Base, I think, for instance, and Arbitrum I saw recently, people talking about the revenue. I mean, this is the real meta revenue lately. So it'd be interesting to learn from other ecosystems as well. I don't know how much time we have left, but go ahead, Michael.
I've had a lot of heated debate as well with my team about this. Because we fundamentally changed the whole use case of DOT subliminally and subconsciously, and we didn't replace a model.
Yep.
Like, I promise I'll be very quick here, but like when the token was first created, it was to lock up and to bond parachains. And look at the number of DOT here that are actually being taken out of circulation by this use case, and we don't have this anymore. Like, this is like $126 million of DOT went missing because out of circulation because it was bonded to Moonbeam.
Yes.
And the numbers by the end of the parachain cycle was nowhere near this. And so you mentioned like Arbitrum and Optimism, like their denominator is ETH, where all of our chains denominators are their own token. And so we didn't just change the model based around like core time, we changed the whole tokenomic value proposition for the DOT token. And so I think this probably needs to go even deeper because we are a big project. We got to 3 on CoinMarketCap when the parachains were about to launch. And then we completely rubbed ourselves on our major use case of our own token and didn't replace it. So I'm all for this, and I think that this needs to go even deeper than what you're going.
Hey, dude, I hope to see you in the Telegram chat, and your contributions will be rewarded among everybody else's. That's a great point. So, yeah, anyway, that's an introduction. We are over time. I look back, we're at 10 minutes now. And so the key to getting more time on the show is to actually host the show, it turns out. Thanks very much, everybody, for paying attention. This is going to go out on chain as soon as I get the final multi-sig address here. Okay, so let's now look at some refs that we've spoken about recently. We have Matthias here. Yes, we do still, to speak more about Pixel Proof. Update on how this proposal is going. We've had, okay, so let's just check this out before we start the timer. Kusda delegate on the I side, big. But we have had DVs come on the nay side, including Jam Implementers, PokerWorld, and Permanence. Chaos DAO also on the nay side here. So Matthias, welcome to the show. And what do you want to tell us this week?
Hey, no, I mean, just to follow up what has been happening over the past few days and weeks now. Obviously, a week in, a lot of DVs with the Discord bots gone about. What I want to do in the next couple of days is give a little bit more insights on what this Pixel Proof project is all about. It's basically a kickstart of a much larger initiative. We've been talking about it over the past couple of weeks, months with different agents of the ecosystem that it's great to innovate on the protocol level. It's great to implement new stuff and be competitive, faster, more secure, more scalable, and have data sovereignty on Polkadot. But what's really missing is this front-end adoption, application development, get retail users, get more developers who build on top of Polkadot, not on the protocol itself, but really abstracted away. And Pixel Proof has to be or is a showcase of what's possible to build on Polkadot. As mentioned, we've defined the scope together with Parity because they want to see more dApps being built on top of it. However, they don't have the resources right now to do so. So what we want to do here is kickstart the initiative to get more dApps into the space. The follow-up product, let's say, or the innovation beyond Pixel Proof should be a dApp marketplace where we'll get more developers into the space who can host their apps in a very familiar way in an app store. And the treasury basically becomes or gets any revenue stream through that, like the App Store on Apple or App Store on Google, where they earn royalties on installed apps. And I think mentioned it already on previous AAG, right? We all live in the Web3 world right now, but we still keep on using Web2 tools, be it Slack, Jira, Trello. I mean, everything we use today, it's still Web2. So we're not actually living the Web3 ethos as much as we would, let's say, need to, if we really want to change the perspective. And Pixel Proof should be the first mover to say, okay, let's just start displacing and replacing Web2 applications, Web3 alternatives, and have users own their data.
Cool. What's the negative feedback you've gotten from the nay voters, or have they not had a chance to expound on it?
I mean, the feedback is more or less public from the different. I mean, I think from Polka World it was the financial aspect, permanence DAO as well. There was no feedback yet from Chaos DAO, but Jam implementers, I haven't seen feedback yet. I've had discussions with the Kus DAO in Discord. Still waiting for Hungary DAO to vote. But I'm having follow-up discussions with all of these DVs in upcoming days and weeks to just go a bit deeper into the bigger picture.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the panel today, or anybody in the chat? Okay, I guess we wait for more data on this one. Thanks, Matthias.
Awesome. Thank you.
Another one that we've already discussed. Tommy, you still here, eh? Oh, wait, this just flipped. The hire an ecosystem talent lead. Oh, ouch, bro. Sorry, man. This was looking pretty good, but I think a DV just came in on the nay side here. 3,000 DOT, 130,000 USDC. Still a lot of votes to come in, and we're pretty early. So, yeah, who came in there? Who came in?
I see Chaos DAO on the nay.
Chaos DAO on the nay? No, I don't see Chaos DAO on the nay.
Oh, no.
Poker World on the nay came in.
On 1635.
Yeah.
I see Chaos DAO on the nay. 14 million.
Oh, okay. I got to refresh. I have to refresh.
There was just, while we had the AG, there was a huge delegation to Chaos DAO.
Most TVs are still missing.
Whoa, that's so true. Chaos DAO now sporting almost 14 million DOT on the I side. I mean, not on. I mean, any side that Chaos DAO chooses. Holy smokes!
But that must have been in the last hour because I checked it 1 hour ago.
So that's what happened. That's what happened. They were always
Half
nay.
an hour ago.
Whoa. Okay, we're gonna discuss that after. But Tommy, what's going on here besides?
Yeah, I was checking. Like, I did not have too much feedback yet. I have some. Like, I have a next week. I'm gonna have a call with Hungary DAO and Permanence DAO. I'll get like in their open house, have a conversation. Besides that, I got a few questions from PokerVault before they voted, and that's it so far. And Sachsenberg said that like the criticism from Sachsenberg was that in the past we had similar proposals and they were not very successful, which I fully agree with. But from my perspective, it's also the past HR and talent proposals that were not really like guided or supported. And the specific idea here is that this proposal is guided in the way that the three curators of the proposal is me, OpenGov Forge, and then Parity HR and Web3 Foundation HR, right? So the idea is that it is guided and that we are actively guiding the person that would be hired to like do specific initiatives that we have in mind that would benefit the ecosystem, right? So that's the response here. And else, I would be looking to have conversations with all the DBs and anyone else who has questions.
Yeah, of course. I think it's a well laid out proposal, so we'll have to see what happens from here. Anybody have any questions or comments on this? Okay, we'll wait.
Maybe it's a closing story. Today
ahead.
we set up the multi-sig with the Web3 Foundation and Parity HR folks, and for them it was the first time interacting with a wallet. So we went through the whole journey of working with multi-sig. But yeah, doing my work to onboard the institutions to multi-sig management.
For them, it was their first time interacting with a wallet.
Yeah, and yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, we got Mimir, we got Multic, so multi-sig experience is getting better.
I actually enjoyed some time with Limo on Google Meet yesterday, where we made some bounty calls. Lots of fun. Bit too much time. But lots of fun anyway. Limo, what happened here? Who delegated to Chaos DAO, and why?
Hey, I don't know. Just I am as shocked as you guys.
Where did who were they delegating to before? Can we tell that? Can we see that?
I believe they're delegating to us. They have been for a while, but
Oh,
different conviction.
they've increased conviction. Oh my God. I mean, this is huge.
Seems to be that way.
Love to see growing
Yeah.
Dot, right?
Cram, I know I've been advocating for lowering DV, but I think we're gonna have to jack it up a little bit.
It's good if it's not just TVs that are deciding what's going on in OpenGov, I would say.
Oh yeah, I agree. Really cool. Huge. Okay, that's gonna change the landscape a lot. That's more than 2 DV power on the Chaos DAO side. So make sure you buddy up with the guys from Chaos DAO if you want anything passed. Let's take a look at some
Please don't DM me about your proposal. I'm not going to reply.
What? Sorry, just out of curiosity, what's your Telegram account there, Limo?
Give me a sec.
No,
I'll
Limo,
tell you
don't
my
share.
Telegram
No,
right
Limo,
now.
don't. This is a trick
It
question.
is at JTrano is my Telegram account.
Okay. All right. Let's look at some other refs that are on the go here that we've seen on this show. This is an interesting push and pull. So I was going to celebrate Jamton for ref 1611, 3/4 of the way through their decision period for 99.2 thousand USDT, because last week they were perfectly balanced, almost 50-50 votes. And then I saw this morning when preparing for the show that a DV came on the I side and bumped them up just to 56%. Now back onto the line, 49.7%, and again 26 million on the I side, 26 million on the nay side, a little bit more on the nays. So we'll have to see what happens here, but I like these guys. This seems like a cool project. I don't know why we're not supporting them, but yeah, let's see what happens next week at the end of the decision period. Pop CLI by Rogue, still enjoying 99.9% support now with a bunch of DVs. On the I side, Hungarian, Poker World, and Trustless Core all on the I side here, halfway through the decision period for 577.5 thousand USDC. Good for them, and yeah, looking good so far. Pudgy Penguins with Moobert, the Pudgy Penguin event tour, 81,000 USDC. Pretty much in the same boat we were last week, 23.6% in favor, and this is going to fail. 2 hours left in the decision period. Let's refresh to make sure. Yep, just hanging on to 2 hours left in the decision period there. Probably going to be a nay, and it's too bad to see, in my opinion, but it is what it is, and we'll see if they come back with something more. Wagoy, they'll be on the show next week. 660,000 USDC for these guys. Oh, wait, will they be back next week? Because the decision period is ending in 2 days with only 36% in favor of this one. Yeah, we'll have to check on that next week. And I don't want to give away. Yes. BD Hub here. We're going to see these folks on the show next week. So this is a ref that's on the go, just posted. I think they had some trouble posting this. Originally, they posted 875,000 DOT. And I was like, this looks like a terrible idea, but it was a mistake. It's 875,000? I can't remember the number. But anyway, they meant to post in USDC. They've also broken it down into 3 quarterly payments here. This was initially part of the ambassador program that Lucy and co put forward. They've extracted it from whatever's happening over there, putting it up as its own project. And they'll be on the show next week to discuss this. Natalie, who's the proposer, she is a big fan of this herself. I think that's a little tongue-in-cheek there. But yeah, we'll see this on the show next week. I'm curious to hear from the BD movers in the ecosystem what if they find this valuable or not. It kind of looks valuable to me, but I don't know. Like, I don't know what kind of tools and support they need. So I'm looking forward to hearing from them. Angie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll just add from our perspective, it would be really great to have some sort of a place where we could just, everybody's moving really quickly and it's hard to update everybody everywhere and all the different locations. So to have one place, which is more like a database, more like a CRM would be amazing.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I'm seeing too. So nice to hear you would appreciate that as well. We will hear about that next week. Before we go into the 2 refs that are confirming this week, let's open the floor to anything you want to discuss. regarding Polkadot governance. Anybody have any refs that they're seeing that they find interesting, or any other topics we could discuss before we go? We have an interesting proposal from Coin Studio here to fill the bounty that are paying collators for system parachains. There's some interesting lines in this proposal that we'll probably take a look at in the coming weeks, but that's definitely one to look out for, and that's a new one, 1651. Limo, you have something you want to say?
Yeah, the systems parachain collatus one.
Yeah.
I think some people have an issue with there's like a line item for like writing the proposal that exists on both networks, and they're probably fairly similar. And then it's like the opportunity cost of staking, because you have to put like 1,000 dot on the validator or on the collator or something. So people are a bit iffy on that. There's another ref, the Colorful Notion one.
Hey, real quick, I'll just provide a little bit more context to the 2 points you're making. Coin Studio is charging for actually posting the proposal, but he's charging the same amount for both networks. So there's maybe some like redundancy or double dipping questions there. And then the other thing you're talking about there is they're looking for like extra funds above the normal return because they're tying up their funds or something like that. Maybe you can clarify.
Yeah, like in general, I've been supportive of the systems parachain collators refs before, because if we don't, there's not enough activity for them to justify running the collators, right? Yeah, so this one's different from the proposal writing fee, and then basically and Funky might have more idea, or Florentina, of this, but basically you have to have like, let's say 1,000 dot on the collator to be in the active set, and that 1,000 dot is just like opportunity cost because it's not staked and you're not really earning on it.
Right.
So I think they've added something like that. It is a new one. I've just seen like some comments in various groups. I need to actually read it before I vote on it.
Yeah, so looking for a return on that base deposit to participate in the program, which could be contentious, but we'll have to see about that. The other one you wanted to bring up, Limo, 1642.
Yeah, so this got really heavily made like the moment it got posted.
Yeah.
Which I just wanted to bring up because it was quite interesting that it got so heavily made immediately.
By an anon account, 14DN.
Yeah, so June Analytics is pretty good, right? A lot of people use it. I think you guys use it to get data for the Coos graphics and stuff as well.
Yeah.
But it's maybe a bit expensive, but then is it that expensive for what it does? I mean, I don't know. I need to review it and vote myself, but I thought it was interesting to be so heavily made, like in the same few hours that it was posted.
Yeah, absolutely. This is pretty fresh, so we'll have to see the DAO votes come in as well, but it's not looking too positive on Coos DAO at least. Colorful Notion has charged a lot for their Dune integration so far, and as you mentioned, we use it a lot for the Coos, and I can report that we've had some problems using it actually, considering the costs. Hasn't quite been up to snuff. But we'll have to see how this goes. And then the fate of the project, of course, if it doesn't go through, is in question. Lorena, you were next.
Yes, I would like to mention the same that Limo related with 1642, because
Yes, this one. Yep.
for me, June is mandatory, okay?
Yeah.
But proposal is not for all the ecosystem, it's only for 12 parachain, is focus on quantity. They mentioned focusing quality instead of quantity. So for me, that we need this June. I don't know the rest of the proposal. Okay, that is why for me we need to understand more this proposal to review and need to Colorful Notion present the proposal and explain what they want to do, because it's not clear, at least for me, and the cost is very expensive in my opinion.
Yes, it adds great expense to already expensive. Colorful Notion has another ref in, by the way, 1626. It's a wish for change, putting this question up to rebrand Dot to Jam in 2026. 46.7 million against, 2.8 million for, about a third of the way through the decision period. Funkatron.
Yeah, I'm sorry to circle back because I know we kind of already
the collator
moved on.
thing?
Yeah. I just wanted to chime in real quick. I have not read the details in terms of what's causing the consternation, admittedly. So I'm kind of speaking from an ignorant standpoint. However, I will say, the things that Limo alluded to are very true. Some of the inner workings of running infra can be quite clunky and in some sense cost intensive because, like even if you're not, for instance, a collator on one of the system chains, if you are not like an invulnerable, as they're called, you get into this bidding war to try and even get into the, the active position to run the collator. And then you don't even make a whole lot of money on it where you're barely covering your costs. So you are locking up, some of these things. I want to just give a shout out to Coin Studio, however, as sort of the lead curator on all this. The consummate professional. And Coin Studio, if you're watching, this is true. Anybody who knows Coin Studio in the ecosystem, one of the great community members who runs validators for us and collators. So we just opened a new tender process. Even the curators have now winnowed it down to a very small selection. So recognizing what Limo said, that some of these chains don't get a whole lot of action, they're even reducing the amount of people who can get paid on specific things. Like one of the community, I don't remember exactly which one, but they're only looking for one specific code, so there'll be multiple bids coming in. This is going to happen throughout the next 3 weeks because the tender period, submission period just opened on July 1st. And so as people, because I just know Lucky Friday is putting together its bid again. And so, you almost have to be very targeted in what you're willing to take or accept for very specific, because some of them are more open-ended. They need multiple providers. Some of them, they only need 3. Some of them, they are down to 1. So it is, there's a lot of judiciousness on the part of the curators, and all of them, Coin Studio, of course, leading the way, have done a very good job with being just reducing costs, saving money for the community. And I just at least wanted to give them a shout out, for all the hard work that they're doing. So I don't know if it's technically double dipping or not. I don't see it that way based on my limited knowledge and just knowing that he's been such a good ecosystem agent and doing what's best for all of us.
Yes, well-deserved praise.
I would also say it's not like the most amount of money compared to like the benefit that this gives. So
yes,
be reasonable, I suppose.
All right, no doubt. Thank you very much, Funky, for that viewpoint. A few other proposers that are on the go or live with proposals right now who we've seen before might be worth mentioning. There's a bounty top up for the Polkadot Assurance Legion, $500,000 DOT. Generally, I think a very successful bounty, but looking forward to hearing more about this, the success of the past, and the plan going forward. $500,000 DOT for that bounty. Lorena, you got a comment on that?
Yes, I was reviewing this,
Yeah.
the proposal, and of course, it's very successful. But what I see is that the activity is reduced. Okay, if you compare, this is not the final report for Q1 for this year, but what I see, and I was concerned about that, is the activity of the bounty was very reduced. So I don't understand what is going on. In fact, the cost of the curators is very high now compared with the past because of the task of the all the work that they do is less, or what is they inform. Okay, I only can check the report that they present here, so I would like to know more about that. If any of the curator could participate and explain the proposal.
Yeah, okay. So from what you see so far, it appears that there's less output possibly planned. On the curator payments, I heard, I think in Kustau, don't quote me on this, but I think they haven't been paying themselves, but they're going to start paying themselves. Personally, I think if you're doing work in the ecosystem, you should pay yourself. And so that would be a good
I don't know. That is what I read only the proposal.
No, I understand. No, these are valid. No.
Sorry, I check the bounties, but the bounty, when you go to the bounty, they see the payment, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, a lot of questions, and we could definitely get more information on this, and hopefully we do get that soon. Thanks for bringing it up. We also, Lime Chain is back. They have had multiple projects going on in the ecosystem. In the past, 172.21 thousand USDC for Dev Ground Phase 2. Not quite sure what this is yet. New developer tools using Pappy. A suite of tools designed to help developers streamline development and debugging. Enable rapid prototyping. Okay, could be good. I think building on Pappy is great, but would love to hear from the Pappy guys and also any possible people who could use this. Pretty much no votes to speak of so far, but just flagging that as a returning proposer. And One Block also a returning proposer, making a ref with Paper Moon for developer education and community expansion plan. Part of the broader efforts, we collaborate with Paper Moon to co-develop educational programs for Chinese-speaking developers. Paper Moon has been contributing docs and technical instructions for devs, yeah. And so they're working with them. And so far, 52.8% in favor of this, but not a lot of votes in either. Okay, anything else we want to discuss before we head out? Speak now. Then hold your peace. We have 2 refs confirming this week Open Square for the new batch of features and developments and maintenance as well. Love this platform. 444.12 thousand USDC. Limo?
Yeah, there's a feature that I noticed yesterday
I love
on
finding new
Subscribe.
Subscribe features. It's a delight.
Yeah, so on the if you go to like a random ref on the verts, there's like nested, which is the one that we normally use,
Yeah.
then flattened, and then there's actions, which used to be like separated INA
Oh,
and
shoot.
abstain, and it
This
would
is
like tell you,
nice.
but now they've changed it so you can see like delegation changes. It's really good.
And
Like
look, the
well done to
impact
the
line.
team.
Look at the impact line. Tells you how it
Yeah,
changes the vote? Is that how it does?
yeah.
Oh
It's
my.
really good.
Yes. Asmog going crazy on this ref. Look at all these actions. That's so cool. You know, it really makes you think that the developers behind Open Square are active in the ecosystem and implementing the features that that they see could be useful from their experience. It's very nice to see. 100% support on this one. Good for
This
them.
Asmod guy can't decide who to delegate to. He's just, I think he's delegated to everyone. It's fine.
Oh no. He got in the developing loop. Just use the Coos.xyz. Nice and easy. Should help you out there. The Coos.xyz. Delegate your voting power to people you can trust. Obviously we have okay, anyway. 1588. This is Otar's house cleaning. Oh, this one passed. 62.3% in favor of this one. This basically cleaned a bunch of non-active bounties and reset the curator set for a bunch of bounties who expired, and then they were, what do you call them? Not active bounties, but like, I guess they're
Wait, just 1588 still confirming.
what's the other one?
If you're about the,
What's the other one?
are you on 50, which one are you on? 1588?
88.
Yeah, it's still confirming. You said it's passed. It's still confirming.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm speaking about confirming now. I just misspoke. Yeah. So this is confirming now, 7 days to go. And yeah, this was to close a bunch of bounties and also reestablish curator sets for some bounties that failed to do that activity thing. That's going to be taken out of the new bounty palette. Limo, when you and I were working together yesterday, we were wondering if as curators we could close a bounty, and then turns out we can't. We have to close a bounty through OpenGov. What a mess.
And you owe me a beer for that because I said it with bad origin.
We did do a bet there, yeah. But I want to have a beer with you, so I made the bet even though I thought I'd be wrong. Of course you're busy, so now I get to do that. But I reported to you that I was speaking with Tiago about whether or not we'll be able to do that in Bounty Palette V2. And I reported to you that we wouldn't, but now that question is open again. Maybe we will be able to, but we'll have to see. Bounty V2 actually developing a pace here. Hopefully we see that sooner rather than later. But cleaning up the whole bounty situation would be really good for everybody involved. That's the show, everybody. AAG number 246 has come to a close. We're moving on to 47 next week on Monday to explore Kusama. And a lot of exciting things happening with Kusama lately. On the Friday dump tomorrow, the Friday news pumps, I'm sorry, tomorrow, we're going to be diving deep into some of the developments with Kusama as a privacy-focused network. Very exciting stuff. I don't know if you saw, but the new Kusama website designed by Aaron, so beautiful, so exciting, really energizing for the future of Kusama. So look out for that show tomorrow, whenever we get it out. And Sunday, Space Monkeys Sunday with Rish from Kilt. Rish took over Kilt basically, and he has a product focused roadmap, a bunch of products on the go. Actually, pretty bullish on what he's doing. So do check that out to get a quick overview of what's going on, and maybe jump aboard of all the action happening there with Kilt. Hope you all have a great weekend. Look out for .rfp number 1, the research one, supervised by Mark, Rob, and I. And please do contribute to answering some of those questions so we can make better choices as a DAO going forward. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you very soon.